Hollywood movies have their place, but let's be honest. Some of the most exciting, creative, and downright insane films come from the underdogs. Low budget, high energy, and packed with pure filmmaking passion, these movies didn't just entertain, they left a lasting impact. Today, we're looking at films that punched above their weight. Smaller productions that outshined the mainstream. Some redefined genres, others launched careers, and a few even embarrassed the big studios at their own game. So, grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's roll. The Evil Dead, 1981. What happens when a bunch of college kids, a cabin in the woods, and a 22-year-old Sam Raimi collide? You get The Evil Dead, a low-budget horror film that kicked the industry in the teeth. Armed with $350,000, gallons of fake blood, and sheer insanity, Raimi created something raw, relentless, and visually groundbreaking.
They're alive, Ashley!
Horror in the early 80s was starting to get predictable, but The Evil Dead came out swinging. Literally, with flying eyeballs and demonic possession that felt disturbingly real. Not only did it launch Bruce Campbell's career and give us the ultimate horror comedy sequel with Evil Dead 2, but it influenced an entire generation of filmmakers, including a certain Peter Jackson, who started his career making splatterfests before jumping to The Lord of the Rings. The Terminator, 1984. Wait, The Terminator was a low-budget film? Yep. James Cameron's sci-fi thriller/horror film was made on a modest budget of $6.4 million. Peanuts by industry standards. And yet, it delivered 10 times the intensity of most big studio blockbusters. It was gritty, dark, and packed with practical effects that still hold up today. Arnold Schwarzenegger's performance as the unstoppable killing machine was pure nightmare fuel. And the story, tight, relentless, no wasted scenes, became a blueprint for sci-fi action. It didn't just make an impact, it changed the game. This scrappy indie turned James Cameron into a household name and led to one of the biggest franchises in cinema history.
I'll be back.
Mad Max, 1979. Before it became a billion-dollar franchise, Mad Max was just a scrappy Australian indie made on a shoestring budget. Director George Miller, a former ER doctor, poured every bit of adrenaline into this post-apocalyptic road rampage. With brutal car chases, sun-scorched landscapes, and a young Mel Gibson sporting some serious rage issues, Mad Max didn't just redefine action. It set the gold standard for dystopian chaos. Most post-apocalyptic flicks felt tame in comparison. And let's not forget, this little Aussie film spawned an entire subgenre of punk-fueled wasteland warriors. Re-Animator, 1985. 80s horror was filled with sequels and slashers, but Re-Animator? This was something different. A mad scientist movie with Lovecraftian horror, pitch-black comedy, and some of the most jaw-dropping practical effects of the decade. It had the gore that mainstream horror was too afraid to touch, and a wicked sense of humor that made it stand out from the crowd. Jeffrey Combs' performance as Herbert West is one of horror's most underrated gems, and the film's mix of horror and absurdity put it in a class of its own. While the big studios were playing it safe, Re-Animator pushed boundaries and became an instant cult classic.
1997. New York City is a walled, maximum security prison.
Escape from New York, 1981. John Carpenter knew how to stretch a budget, and Escape from New York is proof. This dystopian action film turned 1980s New York into a crime-ridden wasteland, all on a tight budget. Kurt Russell's Snake Plissken, a one-eyed gunslinging anti-hero, became an instant icon. The film's gritty, neon-lit world, combined with its mix of action, satire, and unforgettable characters, made it one of the most stylish and influential genre films of its time. Its impact, massive. It inspired everything from video games like Metal Gear Solid to countless other post-apocalyptic flicks. And let's face it, Snake Plissken is still one of the coolest characters in film history. These are just a few examples of how smaller productions didn't just survive, they thrived, evolved, and beat the mainstream at its own game. Limited budgets, unknown actors, and DIY filmmaking didn't hold these films back. If anything, it made them more creative, more daring, and more memorable. What's your favorite underdog film that deserved more love? Drop it in the comments. We love discovering hidden gems. And if you enjoyed this trip through cinema, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the wildest corners of film history. Until next time, keep exploring the weird, the wild, and the wonderful.